Welcome back to the program. This is Kivumbi 2017 right here on KTN News on a day. Calm has returned into the country. Of course, Kenyans are engaging with their normal businesses. We're getting reports that in Kisumu, normalcy has returned. We have our reporters spread all across the country and they're ready to give us updates whatsoever from wherever they're reporting from. And at this moment, we do expect NASA leader Raila Odinga to hold another rally in Mathare. This is after he held another one a few minutes ago in Kibra. But for now, let's cross over to Kajiado County, where Kajiado County Governor-elect Joseph Olelenku has vowed to reconcile the various communities living in the vast community. Now, Olelenku, who won against his ODM rival, the incumbent David Nkendianye, thanked voters in the area for remaining largely peaceful during the campaign period. He said no one will be kicked out of the county government.
Tunajua tulipatia nyinyi ahadi chungu mzima. Tunasubiri kuapishwa wiki ijayo, tuanze mara moja kukabiliana na hayo tulikubaliana na yale yamekuwa kwa manifesto yangu. Manifesto ya serikali ya Olelenku imesema masomo kipaumbele, mambo ya maji kipaumbele, afya kipaumbele na mambo ya mabarabara zetu kipaumbele.
Kajiado Governor-elect Joseph Olelenku there speaking. Of course, he promised no one will be kicked out of the county and not the county government, as I've already mentioned. Now, Murang'a Governor-elect Mwangi wa Iria has pledged to make the county a model county by the end of his second term. Wa Iria, who lauded calls for giving him a second chance to be their governor, said he will ensure that devolution is felt in every household. Wa Iria also added that he will do everything possible to increase their income and decrease their expenditure. The county, he said, will be an example of how a devolved unit of government should be run in a period of 5 years.
Maybe what I would advise you is quite important. Either, my dear governor, my dear women rep, you two, I would urge one thing: aim higher. And if you aim higher, I'll be there to support you.
It is one thing to be voted in back, and it is a different thing to be the only governor who is being voted back. Together, we can only join to make this county greater and better.
And so, Governor, as we way forward, we want to unite this county. We have many new members of parliament. We have many MCAs that have come. We need to have a meeting and forge the way forward. We work together. Let's empower our MCAs. We work together with the MPs. And I think strong, as we work together, we are going to go far. And we want our county, Murang'a County, to be rated as county #1.
Of course, another man who retained his seat is Kwale County Governor Salim Mvurya of Jubilee, who was last night the winner in the just concluded election in the area. He was declared winner by the Kwale County Returning Officer, Amina Saud, at the County Tallying Center in Matuga. He garnered 119,680 votes against his closest rival, Chirao Ali Mokwere, who got 29,741 votes. A dismal performance, many will say. Now, Issa Boy of ODM was declared senator-elect after garnering 72,275.
Salama sana. Sote tuwa Kwale, tuungane, tufanye kazi pamoja na Mungu. Mimi nawahakikishia wapenzi mtukufu wa Kwale, nitawafanyia kazi na nitaungana na viongozi wangu wengine tuweze kuendelea kudumisha Kwale iwe kitu kimoja. Tunapoenda kipindi cha pili, Wakwale wote watarajie kwamba ule msingi ambao tuliweka tutaendelea nao ili kuweza kuboresha maisha ya wananchi wetu. Kwa hiyo ningependa kuchukua nafasi hii vile vile kuwapongeza wale viongozi waliochaguliwa kwa ngazi tofauti tofauti. Pia nawapongeza.
There you go. Mvurya is back, and it's good to see him and his senator working together because, of course, they come from two different political parties. And here in studio, our panel is still on standby here. And let me just start with you, Abdullah. You've seen people saying that there's tension in the country, but they're also saying, this is, the demonstration or the protests that are happening in very few areas, so there's no need to worry.
Yeah,
right?
For sure. I mean, we don't have the whole picture. Obviously, there are places where steal their attention. But I think by and large, even the Central Business District have been making it a point every day since the day after election to pass through the city just to get a sense of the pulse of the city, take River Road, go all the way to Ngong and come back. So in many ways, things are, there is an ease, calm that is enveloping the city. I can't speak for the rest of the country, but that could change. We are expecting this Tuesday announcement from NASA. Things could change. But for now, I think one of the things that a lot of people, particularly with families who have got school fees, the schools are getting open, the first week of September. So there's a lot on the minds of a lot of people. So for most people, I think the election is slightly behind them. But that is also, again, dependent. If NASA announces something akin to going onto the streets and the rest, and the police get engaged, then we might see a change of the state.
Kakai, there's a need for a peaceful environment, yes. Right?
There's a need for a peaceful environment, and seated here, I'm just wondering what next. When you look at the whole electoral process, we've never had issues during the elections. Always issues come after elections. But when you look at the whole process of electoral process and the outcome that has come out, international community, local media, local stakeholders, all are calling for peace. So there's a call for peace from out there and from within. There's also a call for justice.
Yes.
People are saying, fine, you'll have peace, but justice can also be sought for, and the avenues for seeking for this justice. So there's a disconnect because we are saying there's peace, let's go for it, and there's also justice, let's go for it. There's a disconnect between the many voices that are coming out and the people who are pushing for other alternatives other than peace and justice. Nobody wants to take us back to 2007, 2008. I do recall that was a sad situation to ever find yourself in. And then to link this, the very important thing to link is after the post-election violence in 2007, 2008 election, and this is a history which we have to remind ourselves, there are a number of commissions that were established. And that time in 2009, we were calling them Agenda 4 commissions. And when you saw Honorable Kaparo talking, NCIC, National Cohesion and Integration Commission, is a product of the Agenda 4 Commission. And there was a reason why we formed it in 2007, 2008 election. There were some which were permanent, and there were others which were temporary. For example, we also had the TGRC, which was temporary, to finish its mandate and went. We also had the CIC, the commission that dealt with the implementation of the Constitution, finished its mandate, it went. One of them remained permanent, and that's the NCIC. Now, what was the thinking of forming the NCIC at that time? The thinking of formation of that NCIC, and when you read the NCIC Act that establishes it, was to deal with all these issues that are around elections. So issues of hate speech were enshrined in there. Issues of peace were enshrined in there. Issues of cohesion and integration were all enshrined in there. So when you hear Honorable Kaparo talking about peace and calling for the country to remain peace and calm, it's just the product of the post-election violence. So this is what exactly we wanted to achieve that time. So it's very wrong for Kenyans and for politicians to now take us back to where we were in 2008.
Of course, speaking about cohesion, it's something religious leaders are also keen about. And I understand there's some evangelical leaders who are about to address the members of the press right here in Nairobi. Let's listen in to their message. Actually, they're not ready, but we're going to, of course, bring those pictures live to our viewers once the religious leaders there start speaking. Now, Peter, we've seen the protest happening for the last 2 days, something the NCIC chair has clearly criticized. Do you think it's practical to have a peaceful protest in this country? Is it something that can be achieved?
You know, in terms of really having a peaceful protest, in my view, it depends with the organization.
Yes.
From the experiences that we've had as a country, it's not possible to have a peaceful protest in that environment where there's a lot of pent-up feelings and dissatisfaction and that deeper feeling that a person has been rigged out. So in the context of venting out, in the context of an election, I don't think it's really possible to...
A lot of people are emotional, clearly.
Absolutely. But for us, we believe at Better Kenya is that we need to build stronger institutions. We need to learn to respect the outcome of announced by institutions such as IEBC. We need to learn to subject ourselves to other institutions. For instance, if it is electoral justice that we are seeking, then let's go to the judiciary so that we are able to participate and get our concerns addressed. Otherwise, it greatly undermines the Constitution. It greatly undermines the rule of law.
Yes.
If we are always on that path of fighting each other.
As we wrap up, I understand we're almost out of time. Briefly, let me hear your final comments, because we all agree this has been a very interesting election. There are women governors, there are youthful leaders who've been elected as members of parliament. What are some of your observations that you've made, Abdullah? Let me just start with you.
Yeah, I think for me, one of the things that doesn't get the attention that it deserves is devolution and how it's changed the dynamics of politics. Where, yes, for NASA right now, the presidency is, and should rightly be so if that is their feeling, is the most important thing. But for a lot of people down there, devolution has completely transformed the way people do business, the way people interact with the state. So it's very close. Like if I feel like my MCA is not doing very well, I can easily walk to him and say, hey, it's a very small place. You're not doing me any service. The governors, slightly over half of them did not come back. So they know that there is a width.
If they mess up, they might lose a chance.
So for me,
back.
Particularly for marginal areas, marginal areas here, I'm talking about down in the coast, northeastern, North Rift. For these areas, devolution has completely transformed things. And I think it would be nice, it would be useful for us to begin investing in that for most of the counties to come closer to what we have in Makueni.
Your observation, Kaka?
Let's not go back to post-election violence period, 2007 to 2008. It was a sad scenario in this country. We lost property, lost lives, and all that. Let's never, ever think of going back there. There is a contest. There can only be one winner, and that winner seems to be His Excellency Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. All Kenyans rally behind him, support him. Let's see what he can deliver for the remaining 5 years. Then let's talk about politics in the next 3 or 4 years.
Peter, final comment.
I agree that indeed devolution has not been emphasized in this discourse, and really devolution is the key of unlocking some of these problems that we experience as a country. So I believe that in the next phase of the implementation of devolution, we need to create support systems to really ensure that devolution works. Lastly, on the question of elections, because it looks like everything in this country stops during election time. My advice is that going forward, IEBC should do strategic planning for the next elections now, so that we don't do last-minute preparation, and Parliament should also come on board. Last time they legislated very late, and we are saying that is not very good. We need them to look at the legal framework where it requires improvement. We panel bit, and then we move forward as a country. So in the 2022 elections, we don't create these tensions and pent-up feelings in last minute, so that we have a credible elections again next time. That's part of building this country. We believe in Better Kenya.
Peter Anyama, lawyer, many thanks for your input. Kakai Kissinger, as always, thank you very much for your input. Of course, he's a political analyst and a lawyer, and Abdullah Boru, a security expert, as well as a Horn of Africa expert. Many thanks all of you for your input right here on Kivumbi 2017. And that brings us to the end of our program this hour, but the coverage continues right here on KTN News. My name is Yusuf Ibrahim. Many thanks for staying with us for the last 3 hours. But for now, let me take you straight to that briefing I'd earlier promised you, and that is all about Actually, before that, our sports anchor Robinson Okenya is ready with some, I'm sure, some very, very interesting updates from the ongoing IAAF World Championships. Over to you, Robinson.
Well, thank you, Yusuf Ibrahim. Now, it's been a week that has been filled with a lot of political anxiety. And it has not only been political, but when you come to the world of sports, a lot of sportsmen and women have been making headlines throughout the world. Welcome to the KTN News Sports Updates. I'm Robinson Okenya, and we begin this with athletics, where it was supposed to be a storybook finish, but that did not turn out so. The world's fastest man, Usain Bolt, was expected to bow out of the World Championships with a medal, but that did not turn out so, as Great Britain clinched gold in the 4x100-meter final relay, while the USA was third, and the man himself, the man the world was looking at, did not finish that race. Let's take a look at the 4x100-meter relay finals.